What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Canes Insight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. We are live. It is time for the bank. I've been working trying to compile the most accurate, direct information that I can provide on what's happening in the portal with the team, just in general. People have been asking me a ton of questions. I don't want to answer when I don't know what's going on. So I tried to get the most accurate information possible before responding, and that is what this show is about. We are giving you the bank, which those of you who know, if you don't know, like and subscribe, is the most accurate source of Canes portal recruiting. Anything, you usually hear it before it happens on the bank. Ask around, like and subscribe if you're not a part of it already. Appreciate everybody who is joining us here live. Chat's already going insane. First, I want to talk about some folks that are always accurate, always consistent. And that is Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Pete, hop in here.
What's up, D? Everyone's been going crazy, been a little anxious about everything going on, man. So excited to hear your news today on the bank.
Yeah, I'll just go straight through it position by position because that's how I mentally can calibrate it here. But first, actually, look, we'll do two plugs because we got the bank coming. So you want to wait around for that. So I'll get you the extra plug. Some more friends of mine who not only are great friends of Canes football, also great fans of Canes baseball, and are also the sponsors of today's episode of the bank, and that is Salah, Astorita, and Cox.
Yep. So you just said it. Check out salalaw.com. And Salah, Astorita, and Cox are Miami securities lawyers, a boutique law firm focusing on securities regulatory matters, broker-dealer, and investment advisor regulation, white-collar criminal defense, complex commercial litigation, and securities arbitration litigation. The firm aggressively represents clients throughout the nation. Again, salalaw.com. Contact us now at 561-989-9080.
All right, brother. So we got the ads in. Let's get to the bank. Let's take our money out here. So quarterback. Everybody's focused on quarterback for obvious reasons. And some stuff I can say, some stuff I can't. Here's what I'll say. With Mateer, of course, the quarterback, John Mateer, this was a standout player at Washington State, followed Cam Ward, was probably one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country this year, the number one player in the portal when he jumped in. Oklahoma really had the inside track on this thing all the way. I know Pete was saying that a few weeks ago.
I looked at our text. Yeah, I sent you a text on November 24th saying he's going here. So
Dallas, Texas kid, his coach, his quarterback coach, his offensive coordinator went. That was probably part of the deal when he went. But here's what I'll say about it. Miami knew it was an uphill battle with Mateer, but if you don't compete, you're never going to win. You got to play and you got to take shots in order to secure these great players. You're not always going to get them. You're not always going to have the odds in your favor. But if you don't play, nothing happens. So Miami was in it. Miami was competitive. Miami certainly made Oklahoma work. Ultimately, though, he went to the expected place, which is Oklahoma, and Miami was not caught by surprise. You know, obviously, again, this guy's a great player. I compared him to Jalen Hurts. So you want to land him if you can. It made a lot of sense fit-wise here in Miami. But I think ultimately, more so than anything, the biggest issue was, and I've heard this from numerous sources, is he didn't want to follow Cam Ward. He felt like he was in Cam Ward's shadow a little bit, and going to Oklahoma, close to his hometown, was his way to get out of Cam Ward's shadow. Now, to me, I kind of like following a path that takes you to New York and to the first round of the draft, but, you know, he's betting on himself, going his own way, closer to where he's from in Dallas, Texas. Norman's only about an hour away. So, look, disappointing because the guy's a great player, but not something that blows up the plan or was a shock, right? So, number one in the building, the players, coaches like Emory. He's got a lot of fans. He's tearing it up in practice. And just he's got a lot of fans and people that believe in him. Luke Nickel. When I bring up Luke Nickel's name, I get eyes very, very wide based on what he's been doing in the state playoffs in Georgia. This is the quarterback commitment from the Atlanta area. His Milton team went undefeated. He was 21 of 22 in the state championship game, over 400 yards, over 4 touchdowns. Plus, he was running the ball as well. Just an unreal senior year, unreal playoffs. To me, this is me talking. I think he has a chance to play right away. That was not discounted to me. Now, people are listening. And then Judd Anderson, I know, also has fans. So the idea is, okay, we're just going to stand pat. Miami is aggressively looking at every single option. Mateer is one example. Don't take my word for it. Every bit of reporting on the Mateer situation said we were extremely aggressive, because this is how this staff operates. You can like what you have and still be aggressive in trying to lift up the room. That's how they are trying to operate from a talent acquisition standpoint. Whether they're always going to succeed, I'll let you guys talk about in the comments. It's a competitive endeavor. There's a scoreboard for a reason. You win some, you lose some, trying to hopefully win more than you lose, get more top 5 classes as opposed to top 15, which is the last year. So it's a competitive endeavor. I don't know how else to say it. They're going at it hard. And when it comes to the transfer portal, guys that are in it, Fernando Mendoza, Miami likes him a lot. He's a highly desired player. There's a lot of schools after him aggressively. Miami likes Mendoza and is in that game. And then we'll see what else happens. It is December 19th. The portal closes officially December 27th, I believe, the day
December
before.
28th.
So, and then there's the teams that are competing in the playoff. And when those seasons end, their portal window extends. So, big picture, what I can say is I was around this people when the Cam Ward thing was going on. High stress situation, right? Because if he goes to the NFL, you're not feeling great. Not because you don't have other options, just because Cam Ward is so special, and it was a high stress endeavor. More options this time. More options that can win big at the University of Miami. Miami feels very good about its options, and I do not sense panic in the quarterback room. And I'm being as honest as I can. People will say, "Oh, this is spin, this is propaganda." If I was
calling you the state media, the streets are calling you state media, man.
Listen, if it was a sense of nervousness, I'd avoid the topic. Me and Pete would be talking about the NBA or whatever me and Mike were talking about yesterday, professional wrestling. I'd avoid the topic. But I'm telling you honestly, I don't sense panic. And from what I understand, I feel much better about the quarterback situation that is going in. So that's the most I can say on it. But I feel like it's going to work itself out. And I think Canes fans will be happy at the end of the day. But that's why they play the games. It's competitive. A lot of teams trying to add quarterbacks. They keep score at the end. Last year, Miami added the best quarterback, and it was not a straight shot. There were ups and downs. And at the end of the day, January, Miami had the best quarterback maybe they've ever had. So I'll trust the process here. I feel good about that position after talking to people. Running back, I don't sense a huge need to add somebody there. There it is. Sounds like Russian propaganda spin, but we'll see. Listen, all I could say is they feel good. And
listen, nothing was worse than last year when Reese Poffenbarger committed to Miami and D was still sitting here saying, well, they still feel good about what they have in front of them. And of course, it ended up being Cam Ward, right? But we do have a precedent for this.
We ended up with the people were like, oh, the best portal player last year by far that was 2 times better than the next portal player was the Miami Hurricane. And the process was way more uncertain than what I'm seeing here. So that's the best I can say. Do I know how it's going to turn out? I mean, no. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know how the Syracuse game was going to turn out. I didn't know how the Florida game was going to turn out. You sit there and you watch the games and you see what happens. But I feel very confident that that there is a plan and that there's a sense of calm about the options available. That's what I will say. Running back, I think there's a lot of belief in Jordan Lyle as your lead back, Fletcher as your total do-it-all guy. By the way, I did the interview with Mark Fletcher, Storm Sessions, on the official Miami Hurricanes channel. Check that out if you don't already. That was the best interview I feel I've done. The guy is just everything you want in a Miami Hurricane. Great kid. Cannot recommend that interview enough just because Fletcher is just so awesome. That's called Storm Sessions. I do it with the Miami Hurricanes channel. The YouTube, the Canes All Access has that video. You can also get it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just write Storm Sessions. But anyways, Fletcher's in the mix. Lyle's in the mix. Jared Pringle's going to play right away. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey's out there. Elijah Lofton can also play running back. I don't sense that as a pressing need. We'll see what happens with Martinez. Tight end, I think they would like to add a player. It's just going to have to be a player of quality. Right now, I don't sense anything imminent at that position, but that's something to monitor over the course of the recruiting cycle, which extends into spring as well. Remember, Simeon Barrow, first-team All-ACC tackle. spring. Martinez, spring. There were quite a few guys added after the initial window. So tight end's a position I don't sense anything imminent on, but I wouldn't rule that one out. Wide receiver. Singleton, if I had to bet, I'd say Auburn. He really likes Miami, but I think just timing-wise, I think Auburn's going to make sense there. With Concepcion, who's on campus right now, I like Miami here as a prediction, but Miami's going to be aggressive here as the visit wraps up, see if we can get something done. He's a guy that could really improve this offense, and there's good conversations going on there. We'll see. That's not prediction. Don't say I'm predicting Concepcion because that's not the information I received. So I'm not even going to hint at that. I just know that he's here, and that's we're in the ball game there with Concepcion. Offensive line, I still think we're going to add a center. I don't know the names reported match up to what I'm hearing, but I do think we will add a center there, starting caliber. On the defensive tackle front, the names you've heard about, Miami's in the mix for both. That's Belay and Keyshawn Silver. Belay is the defensive tackle from Louisiana Tech, who's a first-team all-conference guy, really, really emerging as an NFL-type player. I was told he was the best player on the field against Arkansas when they did play an SEC opponent. 6'4", 290. Just a classic late bloomer at the Westchester College, coming out of the Philadelphia area. Then he transferred to Louisiana Tech, and he's kind of outgrown Louisiana Tech. Penn State, other big boys are in the mix. He's on campus right now. He'll be here through the weekend. Major target there. Keyshawn Silver, the big former 5-star from Kentucky, who visited earlier this week. He's still in contact. That one's still alive. Those are the two names I'm focusing on, defensive tackle. That could change over time. But right now, I think those are the names Miami's focusing on, and we'll see where those two go. I think I think probably one at defensive tackle, and then you let your young guys play. But you want impact guys. You don't just want to take bodies like maybe earlier in the Cristobal era when you just walked into the room and you were performing a triage and you're just adding bodies. I think this year is going to be more about adding impact at D tackle to go along with Scott, Blunt, Horton, Moten, guys like that. So that's what I would look for at the defensive tackle position. Those are the two names to keep an eye on. Defensive end, I don't sense a lot of urgency to add someone at this particular point. Again, things can change. Linebacker, you saw the linebacker from Nebraska visited. Mikael Bayer ended up going to, I believe, Missouri. But yeah. I don't sense a ton of urgency at linebacker either. You got young players like Popo Aguirre, Darius Hayes, Bobby Pruitt that need to play. Defensive back, I get the sense this is going to come together in the next week. Charles Brantley, who we haven't talked about a lot, originally from Florida, veteran corner from Michigan State, entered the portal. I like where Miami is trending in that recruitment. Miami is pushing hard for Charles Brantley, a proven veteran corner, day one starter, a guy that people have liked a lot on the Miami boards. He is from Florida. A lot of people want us to offer him out of high school. Ends up having a really good career at Michigan State. I like where it's trending with Charles Brantley. Emmanuel Carnley. This is a more on the raw side corner from Arizona, 6'3", sprinter. I heard he runs 10.6. I haven't seen that online, but I heard he's very, very fast, and he's very highly valued by teams in the corner market. You see Ole Miss after him, Michigan after him. I think he's on a Michigan visit right now, but Miami's going to have a good shot there. And then Miami, I think, would look to add probably another name there to go to 3 new names if they can. Those are not locks, those two names I just mentioned, but Miami has good juice in that process, and they look to add another one if they could. 3 is, I think, the number of corner. Safety, you love the guy that you added in Zach Poyser from the Ocala area, Jacksonville State, one of the top young safeties in the country, according to a lot of personnel guys. 247 loves him. I think he's ranked number 2 in the portal safety. Miami probably has him close to number 1. Huge get. I'd like to add perhaps another safety, more of a boundary safety. Name I'd keep an eye on there as a possibility, Adrian Wilson from Washington State. Washington State was doing something right. They got a lot of players out of there. So I think I ran through every position there. We'll see, but a lot going on. I'll answer some questions because I know I might have been rambling a little bit here, but I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
This is what I just gathered from what you just said right now. Calma.
That's it, baby.
Everyone calm down. That's what I heard, because again, if you're just joining us now, as we'll pull up a comment here from Kwame Canty. But if you're just joining us now, and I'll kind of recap now again in a second because we have a lot of people just joining us. But Kwame Canty has this comment here saying he's not happy with the quarterback room going into next season. There's absolutely zero production, a lot of hopes and wishes, but no real production. Thank you for your contribution.
Appreciate that, Kwame. So here's what I'll say. And I like the way you phrased all this. So you're saying hopes and wishes. Actions speak louder than words, as you know. So they like what they have in the room. They're excited about Luke Nichols' potential to play right away. A lot of people love Emery. I heard he's playing great in practice. And they're still pushing on John Mateer, right? I'm just saying what you know publicly, right? So that's confirmed by everybody that's outside of Miami. You heard 247 on 3, the Oklahoma people, they all said it. Oklahoma, I'm sure, didn't like Miami's involvement. Let's put it that way. So that's the actions. So I think you can do both. You can like what you have in the room. You can like what you have coming in with Luke Nickel. You can believe in those players' ability to execute your offense and win games and throw the ball, and then aggressively look to add talent when available. So that's the way I would put it all together. If I came out here and said, we're good, we got what we got, we're good, don't worry about it, that's one thing. But the actions that you're seeing are a staff that's aggressively trying to improve talent everywhere, including quarterback. So, what else can I say? Take a look at the actions, I think. We got another one here from Steve Vey. Appreciate you. Said, let's say Mendoza calls and says he wants in at a reasonable price. Is he a take today? I think Miami likes Mendoza, and Miami thinks that Mendoza can win. Mendoza is the best player in the portal, quarterback, now that Mateer's not. A lot of teams like him. He's got a high value. I think Miami would love to talk to Mendoza, and I think there's communications, and he's a guy. The impression I get in general is like this is not in the bag for people say, like, oh, this is just in the bag for Emery. This is in the bag for Mendoza or something like that. These are the narratives that people spin. Miami's aggressively looking to improve particular rooms on the roster. I just went through them. I put quarterback in that category while still liking what you have. So Mendoza is somebody who's in the portal, who is a top player in the portal. I would say he's the best quarterback in the portal now that Mateer is not on the board. And of course, Miami's interested in him, and they think he's a really good player. So I don't know what more, how much more I can go into that one with the hypotheticals. As you know, the devil's in the details on a lot of this stuff. Pete knows, but they like Mendoza.
Well, and D, again, if you're just joining us now, as we have almost 2,000 live with us, appreciate everyone who's on here. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're just joining us, I mean, a few things really stood out to me about what you just said. Number one, because we're getting a lot of comments about the receiver position. Number one is that you expect Miami to make a real run at Kevin Concepcion, which Canes fans have been wanting that for a long time, right? So that's a very intriguing one. The other one was that same sort of situation with Charles Brantley, that you expect Miami to be kind of a trending there right now with him. And then the fact that you're still in play for Blay out of Louisiana Tech and Silver from Kentucky, formerly UNC, as a D tackle. If you get one of those two in terms of the D tackles, and then you can sweep Concepcion and Brantley along with the couple guys you've already added, it's a very nice portal class at that point.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, Kevin, Dennis, appreciate your support. I didn't get your question in there, so make sure you ask your question so I can get to it. I'm seeing a lot of comments on Mendoza. So now I'm going to take off the information hat. Now I'm just this is me talking. This is my opinion talking here. So I'm switching to editorial mode a little bit. Bagging up saying Mendoza was the 5th best quarterback in the portal until all the better ones signed. I mean, who? Mateer is better, I think. Mensa, who, was productive for Tulane. Is he better? I don't know. I probably lean Mendoza there. I know a lot of other schools would prefer Mendoza. I'm pretty sure whatever school Mendoza assigns to will be better than Duke. So, I don't agree with that. Who else is in the portal? I like Jackson Arnold from a potential standpoint. He hasn't done anything on the field yet. I like him. I like Jackson Arnold personally, But, a lot of those other guys are just prospects. I think Cam Ward was the 4th ranked quarterback in the portal last year. The rankings in the portal, Mendoza's a 93. He's a pretty high ranked guy in the portal. I don't keep up with the portal rankings to the number, but he's pretty highly ranked in the portal. And again, I would say, this is my opinion, of the guys that are in the portal, not the guys that might potentially go in the portal, the guys that are in the portal, he's the best one after Mateer. I mean, I think it's pretty clear when you look at the stats and you look at the way they're being recruited.
Well, the stats and like he talking to NFL people, he's a future NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be a high draft pick, but he's a guy who's going to be a pro.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, Joe Williams, thank you for the support. Same to you, man. Keep working. Appreciate everything you're putting out there. Plug your stuff in the comments.
You heard Pod.
No, I know that you heard. I know you got a bunch of stuff going on. So plug your stuff in the comments, and I'll put it all out there. Put your ads in there. I want to make sure we get your stuff out there. But appreciate your support always for a long time here. All right. So, but a lot of comments about Emory, and they're saying that.
Real quick, D, not to cut you off, but guys, it's giving me it says there's an issue with Twitter right now. If you're watching us on Twitter and it's not working for whatever reason, head over to YouTube and at Official Canes Insight. You can catch us there because I know a lot of people are watching on Twitter and it's telling me there's an issue there. So if it's not working for you guys, head over to YouTube.
So we got people talking about Mendoza versus Emory. And again, now I'm putting my opinion on. I would encourage you guys to watch Mendoza. Like, really watch his highlights, watch his games. I mean, the stuff I'm seeing in the comments, people saying that, the athleticism, I find Mendoza to be a much better athlete. This is my opinion now, to be a much better athlete than what we have in there right now. Not Cam Ward. And the guy he's 6'5". He's making 30, 40, 50-yard runs. He's throwing off platform. He's throwing with people about to hit him. You can watch the Stanford game on that game when he drives, he's getting crushed. He had probably the worst offensive line in the ACC. If you saw the game yesterday, by the way, Mauricio Torres, appreciate you. 7 million posts on CanesInsight.com and counting. You can talk about how off I am on Mendoza when you go on the CanesInsight.com message boards. And the funny thing is, what I'm trying to express to you guys, it's not like it's like Mendoza's the guy and we have a simple plan to get Mendoza. We're exploring all options. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. And we feel good about the options. Now, me personally, on a Mendoza versus Emory comparison, right? Because that comes up a lot in comments. I'm 40 almost, right? We've been doing this for a long time. I'm not trying to go backwards on hopes and wishes. I watched the ACC and I know that Mendoza already is an above average quarterback in the ACC already, with the worst offensive line in the ACC, which you saw yesterday when Cal played. The quarterbacks were getting demolished against UNLV. Okay? So I know that he can play in the ACC even with the worst offensive line and no skill. If you're projecting forward, I know he's a better athlete just by watching him than what we have in the building, not talking about Cam Ward. So if he has more upside because of the athleticism and he's already more productive, and he does all the same intangible stuff that we like about some of the people we have, to me, that is an upgrade, and I'm in the business of going forward. Now, what I'm saying here, because we're going to hear this be like, oh, this is just like I'm trying to make everybody comfortable with Mendoza because we're going to take him. I don't know that we're going to take him, and he's going to be the guy. I don't know if he's going to pick us. I don't know if we wanted to, I don't know how this is going to play out. I really don't. This is not me running some sort of Operation Mendoza. But would I take Mendoza? Personally, based on what we have, 100%. Are there other options that could be even better? Possibly.
Well, indeed, there's a comment here from Rico88 saying Mendoza doesn't have a quick arm. Our defense made every QB look great. Before the last game of the season that he didn't play, he was the number 11 passer in the country. So this wasn't just against Miami's defense, right? So I think that's a misconception as well.
Yeah. So, watch his highlights. I think people, when they go to YouTube, right? Look at his highlights. Look at his full season highlights and look at some of the plays he's making from an athletic standpoint. I think it'll be surprising to people. People pigeonhole him as a pocket passer, which he is, but he's more athletic than people think. But he's not the only option. I'm getting caught up with this because we're in so many group chats that we were fighting all these battles for like 24 hours. We don't know how to turn it off. But I'm not trying to prep people for Mendoza because I think he's the guy. I don't know who's the guy. I think there's going to be a lot of options here, right? So he's one of them. But if this is my personal commentary, if we're comparing him to what we have, I think he'd be an improvement both in terms of proven production And then upside also because of the athleticism. He's gotten a lot better every single year. When he was in high school, and I was the first one to call him a D1 player in this media world, he was going to Yale. Then I was like, why is this guy not going D1? Cal swoops in at the last second, offers him. He redshirts, wins a job as a freshman, then gets a lot better as a sophomore. Now is one of the top players in the portal. So his projection's up because he's tall, he's athletic, he works extremely hard, and all the intangible stuff that we like about the guys we have, he has that as well. So to me, it's an upgrade, but he's not the only show in town. You don't have to take the first Cuban you see, the first Columbus guy you see. There's other options, and we'll see where it goes. But if you're asking me, would I take him and accept him as an upgrade that we can win the ACC with? My opinion is yes.
This is a comment directed towards you, D.
Oh, of course. Champy, appreciate you. Just caught up. I know you're working hard at one of your 7 hustles here. Do you guys have anything on the Branch Brothers? D-Money, please stop flipping your hair every minute. Haven't heard a lot of talk on the Branch Brothers. I didn't ask, so maybe that was my fault. But I'm, right now Concepcion's on campus.
Which is what Joe, by the way, was just asking if we were serious about Casey being in play. So
yeah, he's here. I mean, he's here. So they're trying to sell him. I mean, he's a major target. He's not here for the courtesy visit. Eric Rivers went to Georgia Tech. I didn't sense that pursuit as aggressive as what we're talking about.
I heard there was an injury thing there that kind of maybe slowed Miami's pursuit. He would have been out for spring, probably out for the next 3-4 months. And again, there's money involved now. You're investing in someone, so you got to know what you're getting. So I think that came into play as well there, D.
Yeah. And Filetta, as far as the hair flipping, I mean, if you knew how it felt, you'd do it too. Okay. Just sometimes it gets in my eyes. I got to do it. So
he's not the only one. Someone else said you have to cut the hair helmet.
I do. Let's talk to Oliver, man. We got Oliver. I know you listen to this show. The guy, he convinced me to let the sides be a little longer when he cut it. But they do that so that they can sell you more haircuts. I got to go back there every 2 weeks.
You can't air the barber out like that on
He did an amazing job. Man. My wife loves the haircut now. So now my wife loved the haircut. That's Oliver. That's
golden touch.
That's golden touch. She says the best haircut I ever had. But he cut it. He didn't cut it as short. So now I have to go back more. So because my wife likes the hair, I got to get more haircuts because it's longer. Now I'm caught in this rapture. It's a very moderately priced haircut, but I'm doing it a lot more. And I got people like loose screws telling me I got to get a haircut in the comments. Anyways,
bagging up 4 says after I said that, there's investments being made. We invested in a wide receiver that has a detached heel.
This guy played in the SEC last year as a starter. The intel on this guy from a character standpoint is tremendous. He's a contested catch guy. I like Isaiah Horton. I thought, he still has a lot of potential. He's going to probably go to Alabama, but ultimately, you got to move on in this world and move fast. And I think they did a really nice job to replace Horton's production with a guy that is probably a better contested catch guy. We'll see if he can get to the speed that he showed in Liberty versus what he had here. Obviously there's no secrets with the injury. It's not like something is surprising us on the fact that he was playing hurt at LSU. But I will emphasize with him, the character stuff on him is great. And he produced. It's not like you're just taking a good guy. This guy's got film of production. He's a big guy, good contested catch guy, good route runner, tough. But as those who listen to this podcast know, receivers with character and maturity, this guy's from the class of 2020. I like adding guys like that. I think you're in better shape adding guys like that than adding culture killers like FSU did a little bit. So appreciate Kevin Dennis, Mel Tucker for DC. Push the agenda, please. All right, hey, I'll take Mel Tucker. I think we need a head coach type at DC if we do move on.
I've heard another name there as well, who also is dealing with a scandal. I'm not gonna drop that one right now. If that was a possibility.
Yeah, man. Mel Tucker. That was how do you harass the sexual harassment coordinator? That's
That's gutsy, Jim. That's gutsy, Jim. West Enzo, man, appreciate the support. Sorry, D. We always.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no.
He says join Kane's connection.
I think he's on vacation or something with the family. I saw some nice family pictures on social.
He said
media.
He said happy birthday to me earlier. I don't know if it was.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
I don't know if it's your birthday. If it is, then...
Appreciate the support. 690. And he's saying joins Kane's connection. Join Kane's connection. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Can't agree with you more. I know you're a big supporter. West End Zone. You put your money where your mouth is. That's canesconnection.com/CIS. Miami's official NIL collective. This is how we're making all these things happen. This is why we're in the game for for some of these names that we're going to be taking shots at here, like Concepcion, who's on campus right now. So if you want to be part of it, canesconnection.com/CIS. The best way you can impact what's happening on the field is right there. And then appreciate the like, share, comment, and subscribe.
He says he confirmed this is his birthday, so happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday, Nick. So in your opinion, what are the options going to be at quarterback? Will it be Mendoza or a quarterback in the playoffs? I say both. The ones in the playoffs, you don't know. You just don't know what happens. Like, this is a long process. You don't know what dominoes are going to fall. We've seen it so many times where one thing that seems totally unrelated to your situation happens and it triggers a cascade of things, right? So who knows? But I think we'll have options. Mendoza is one of the options. But if there's one point I can get across as I sit here, is that there's not a preordained process for one player or the other. I sense a range of options that Miami's going to aggressively pursue any name they think can get them better.
Anthony Manzano here says, if D-Money Pete, if you guys actually watch Judd Anderson's tape out of high school, he's really mobile. Actually, the same scheme he was playing in, had a lot of bootleg play action QB runs. We've been saying it, man. We're both D and I are big Judd Anderson fans. When I went to go see him in the beginning part of fall practice there, where you're just seeing the quarterback throw around, he's a smooth, easy thrower, good athlete for that size, not stiff whatsoever. Am I backing him as the starter next season? I still think he needs another year of development, but I think he could be in the mix in a couple of years here. Yeah,
and he is athletic. And if you compare him to Mendoza, I actually think Judd is more athletic than Mendoza. Judd's really athletic. Judd can make runs. And but I would say Mendoza more athletic than Emery if we're just comparing the rooms there. But appreciate everybody's support here. We got a lot of questions. I rolled through everything here. So you got any questions? Let's get your questions in now. Man, the comments are on fire. We're at 2,500. Man, if you're not liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe here. We're on here every day, giving you the latest on recruiting, on the portal, on the team. Today was the portal. If you missed it, beginning, I went through everything. I'm trying to answer questions now. Get your questions here in the comments, but like and subscribe if you have not done so already. So what else we got here?
Geechee Johnny saying Miami not pursuing aggressively enough.
You don't know how the pursuit is, right? So listen, obviously Mateer, we know they pursued Mateer aggressively because it was reported widely by non-UM sources, right? 247 on 3, Oklahoma. We were at them pretty hard. Didn't happen. That's how it goes. Wide receiver, Singleton was on campus. Best receiver in the portal. The other best receiver in the portal, Concepcion's on campus right now. Miami's going to push hard there. I expect them to address center. D tackle, Silver visited. Blaze about to visit. Those are the top 2 targets. D end and linebacker, I don't sense a lot of urgency there because they like what they have in the building. I tend to agree at those spots. I think you got to let these young guys play.
We have breaking news, by the way. Keyshawn Silver expected to transfer to USC.
There you go. All right, we'll take him off the board.
I said the other day, Miami, from what I heard on Saturday, Miami, again, they were going to pursue it, but they did not expect him to be a Hurricane. So that was last week. Again, you can't say they didn't try though, right? So Blay to me would be a good one, but that's still going to be a tough battle.
And that's how it goes. You move on, you don't just count on that one player. You bring in someone else. Who's ready to hire? They're different. Because I know that question's going to come. I think Silver, as far as being a run stuffer, was probably he's bigger. He had that 5-star body. He was a 5-star player at high school. Not as much of a penetrator. I think with Blay at a lower level, he wasn't in the SEC, he was in Louisiana Tech, although you could watch him against Arkansas. He was more of a penetrating type of guy. Long also, 6'4", not as big as Silver, but more of a in the backfield kind of guy.
Here's a tweet from Matt Zenitz.
So there you go. But I'd say so then at D tackle, the name I'd focus on is Blay, who is on campus, I believe, starting today through the weekend. And then look, if that doesn't go the way they want it to, you might see the board expand, different names come in. But right now, the names I heard they were focused on were Silver and Blay. Probably Blay more juice because, again, he's visiting now. Obviously, Silver's off the board, so now you're looking at Blay.
Steven Aveo saying, does the Mendoza family have beef since we didn't recruit him out of high school? That was Manny's year still, right? I believe most of that cycle. I mean,
yeah,
Mario could have swooped in late, but I think at the end of the day, it all worked out for the best for Mendoza, right?
Yeah, that was Manny. Manny didn't even invite. Manny had him at camp, but didn't even give him a walk.
And no, I've heard they're they're on good terms. I haven't heard anything differently there.
Yep. So, and a lot of this stuff slow stepping in the portal. I mean, which position do we feel we're slow stepping? I was a little worried about secondary, candidly, just because it's such a need. Charles Brantley, who I mentioned at the top, if you guys didn't tune in, Michigan State corner, one of the most decorated corners in the portal, most experienced corners in the portal. Might make a strong move there. We'll see where that one goes. Carnley is one of the most coveted young players in the portal at corner. I believe 247 had about like 7 or 8 overall in the portal as far as that position. I think he's a major target, and we'll see more. You added a safety who was the top safety on your board in the portal, and the other name, Adrian Wilson. We'll watch that one. Could add another one there as well.
Sorry, guys. I'm paying attention because I'm looking at all these other updates. Malik Murphy to Oregon State.
Yeah, well, look, he'll get a chance to play. So, we'll see where that one goes with Malik Murphy. I think Duke probably upgraded going from Murphy to Mensa. We'll see where that one goes. But with Mensa going to when you look at these guys where they go, people compare it like just on the Mendoza conversation. Look where guys land, and you'll see kind of where they're valued. So, I think those guys landed where they were valued. We'll see where we go.
We got almost 3,000 on here live with us. Appreciate the support, everyone.
Comment about how you let Billy get Dallas Wilson. The real one he got was Vernell Brown. Dallas Wilson, too much up and down with the recruiting, getting let out of the NIL or the LOI. Some of just the circus around that recruitment. Red flags to me. He's got a lot of work to do, super talented, but he needs to hone in. To me, the prize of that class for Napier was Vernell Brown. He'll play right away. Dallas Wilson, we'll see. They're desperate. They got destroyed 41-17 by Miami. So they're throwing everything to the wall, and we'll see what they can do. They lost a lot of guys too that helped them up front. Although none of them really got anywhere near Cam Ward. So, we'll see. What other questions we got? I've been running through. Where are we at? 37 minutes. You got anything, Pete?
No, I gotta
catch my breath.
I'm looking at like some of you got some of the commenters too. And look, we'll get to this one first. Go ahead.
Yeah. So CJ Donaldson, this is the running back / tight end / athlete from West Virginia, originally from Gulliver, just entered the portal. I didn't ask about him. He entered pretty, recent. I could see him being a fit, except for that we have Lofton already. We just have guys at that spot. We need another running back. We like another running back, but it's hard to get a guy like Donaldson that's a top dollar back. When you already have top dollar backs that you want to hand the ball to right now. You don't want Jordan Lyle to. I'm assuming most people want Jordan Lyle to carry the ball more. So that's something to consider there. Troy Boyles and Travis Shaw. These are highly ranked guys. Bowles, a linebacker. Went to Georgia, I believe.
Todd Bowles' son.
Travis Shaw, defensive tackle, former 5-star from UNC. Those guys are probably more potential over production, or at least rating over production. Maybe if the price is right with those guys, but you got guys in the building that you like, that you want to get snaps to. So the sense I get is when you add somebody to this roster, they're being added at this point in the roster development process. They're being added to play and to be really good.
Rico says, appreciate the daily grind y'all do. Going live every day, even on tough days like this, ain't easy. Hey, this isn't a tough day for us, man.
I feel great.
I feel great about what they have in front of them. I'm not panicking whatsoever. I wanted to get to this. Go ahead.
We got Gator fans in the comments here. So, King Malik, my question to you, my friend, is where were you sitting when the Gator fans started exiting the swamp around the third quarter to beat the traffic and get to Chipotle or Dave & Buster's or whatever they had going on in their town after Miami was up about 4 touchdowns on them, and making highlight reels that got replayed all season just to show how pathetic the Gators were? I don't know if you were at the games, you're watching on TV, you might have changed the channel. But welcome back. Good luck to you guys as you try to improve off this 5-loss or more kind of threshold that you've been stuck on for about a decade. So good luck. We'll see how it goes. I'm glad you guys are getting hyped now because it's going to hurt more when you get let down again. So good luck. Enjoy the recruiting success. And, you'll see you next year. I hope the margin is a little closer. So, we have a more exciting fourth quarter. It got a little boring there at the end. What else we got going on?
I was going to get to this comment. Let me see. It was from Kevin Dennis. I'm trying to pull it up here. Like you said, the comments are on fire. He says, Blay doesn't cut it for me. We need an SEC body type D tackle.
This guy, so listen, here's the thing on Blay. I already got NFL grades. I can tell you whatever I want. But you look at the schools recruiting Blay, and we'll pull up his profile now, Pete. But I know Penn State's after him pretty hard. These guys have been, pretty good about body types and just elite talents on the defensive side of the ball. Let me see some of the teams that are after him. I know he's got SEC interest as well. Just again to give you the flavor here on Blay. Penn State. What's the other? There's two more schools. Pete, pull it up, the schools on Blay. Point is, this guy's a big-time recruit in the portal. He was a first-team all-conference guy. Kind of your classic late bloomer story. This is not so there's different types of G5 guys, right? There's your Thomas Gores, your Marley Cooks that are sort of overachievers, right? That maybe they're physically capped because of their height usually. But they're just really good players at that level. And then when you project them up to the higher levels, their role goes down because of their physical limitations, but they're good players, so they can give you something.
He visited USC, so that'll probably be off the board now with Silver going there, and then he visited Illinois.
Okay,
so probably a Penn State.
So Big Ten, Penn State, Miami battle there. Penn State. He's from Philadelphia, but so there's different kinds of G5 guys. Again, there's the overachiever guys that overachieve their physical limitations, and when they move up, they can still help you, but their role probably gets reduced because their body is not what that level of play at the ACC, SEC, Big Ten is used to.
Well, it's also just like in general, guys, like you can't make guys appear out of nowhere. You're not going to find exactly what you need in the port over here, which is why the high school recruiting is so important. And ideally you're plugging certain spots here and not relying on it. But yes.
But this is a guy, but this guy's considered.
I think he's a dude.
Yeah,
too.
this guy's considered a dude
too. I'm just saying in general, like, yes, we'd all love the prototype at every position out of the portal, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, this guy, and this is not a Marley Cook, Thomas Gore, at least in terms of how they're rated by the market and by the other schools. How they play, that's why they play the games. I don't know that. But with him, again, there's the overachievers, and there's the guys that are just late bloomers in their body. Maybe they switch positions, maybe they switch sports, maybe they just grew. With Blay, I think it was a growth spurt. He went to Westchester College in Pennsylvania, which is like a tiny school, then transfers to Louisiana Tech, gets a little better, and then blows up this year. And he's 6'4", 290, body looks good. Again, NFL prospect, very good in that Arkansas game. People there say he's the best player on the field. There's a lot of connections to the Louisiana Tech staff in Miami. And, this guy is a guy that's considered a really good rising player, more similar to like a Zechariah Poyser, the safety that Miami got committed, that they're moving up a level because they're late bloomers and their body types and their athleticism and their production is more SEC, Big Ten, ACC. So we'll see if we can get this guy. He's a target. He will be here this weekend.
We're over 3,000 live, man. And we're getting a lot of questions here from people on guys all across the country. People asking about Caden Salter. If only there was a place to get news on that, D.
You tell them.
Tell them. Guys, if you're on here with us now and you want more transfer portal stuff and coaching stuff from across the country, check out our other page, Group Chat Sports. Almost at 500 subscribers, man. Let's get there today. Appreciate everyone who's been liking our stuff over there. And yeah, as you see here, man, we go across the country with the latest news. So like the Caden Salter stuff, as you were asking about, got a whole breakdown of it here. Like that fit for him at Colorado. Talented kid, talented quarterback. Didn't have a great year this year, but should have some better weapons over there. So go check us out there, Group Chat Sports. And we'll be going live after this show. Should be wrapping this up here in the next 15, 20 minutes, and then probably going live in the next half hour or so there. So,
yep. So we got a lot to talk about on that end. Get your questions in now. We're at about the 44-minute mark. We've got 3,000 people. Like and subscribe here if you haven't already. I want to make sure I get everybody's practice or everybody's comments. We got people saying Green Tree All-America Emory. We got Green Tree All-America shirts at the Canes Inside Shop if you want to get those. Yeah, it's funny. Some people say I'm the biggest Emory detractor, and some people say I'm the biggest Emory hyper. I try and figure out which one it is because, I'm hearing both from both sides. What do we got here? We got just Gator versus Kane talking the comments. Let's see here. Seems like most of our recruiting classes were only good because we took the most guys and not because they were actually good. And we got a lot of top 100 players. Some of them have left. That's kind of the nature of recruiting these days. You got to get impact guys. You got to get Malinois. You got to get Baines. You got to get Frederics. You got to get more of them. I think that's part of it is some of these guys that we have not reached that level yet. You got to get production out of those guys too, not just filling every spot in the portal. But when you go in the portal, you got to get impact guys at this stage of the process. And I think some of the names I mentioned at defensive back, certainly at wide receiver with a Concepcion, if you can get him, these are names that could impact you right away and make your team better. Oh, here we go. Xavier Lucas just hit the portal. Is that right?
Let's see. Did you just get duped?
I don't know. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, he just tweeted it. He just tweeted it out. I'm going to pull it up right now. You'd expect Miami to be heavily involved here, D.
Yep. I would expect Miami to be heavily involved. This is a cornerback who is a teammate of O.J. Frederic in high school at Deerfield Beach. And he is a 10-600 kind of guy. Big body, played as a true freshman. I think Miami will be heavily involved with an Xavier Lucas. I think Miami will be heavily involved with Charles Brantley. I think Miami will be heavily involved with Emmanuel Carnley. Those will be pretty nice corners to add to your room. So, on that note, we talked to Miami Hurricane Team Store before we get up out of here. Miami Hurricane Team Store, right there across the street from the University of Miami. You can also see it online, MiamiHTS.com. Use promo code Insight20, get 20% off your first item. Insight20 for 20% off your first item is official Miami retailer. Get your holiday stuff. Why mess around? Go straight to the stores. Get your holiday gear for yourself or your friends at the Miami Hurricane Team Store. But yeah, so let's talk about Xavier Lucas because that is very interesting news. Pete, pull up his stats here if you can.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't. It's not huge stats, but he's a true
Let me
freshman.
see if I can get some video.
Yeah,
that we can play. I know.
Get his huddle. Don't get me a copyright violation here, Pete. We got 3,100 on. So just to recap for those that are new on the show that just joined us, again, like and subscribe. Quarterback, I expect Miami, to me, feels like they have a lot of options. I expect them to be aggressive. Number 2, wide receiver, Concepcion's on campus right now. Expect Miami to push hard there. I expect Miami to address center. I expect Miami to get a defensive tackle. They like Blay, David Blay, who is from Louisiana Tech, late blooming, rising player on campus this weekend. And I expect Miami to potentially add another safety. Keep an eye on Adrian Wilson from Washington State. I expect Miami to add up to 3 corners. Charles Brantley's a name to watch from Michigan State. Emmanuel Carnley, a name to watch from Arizona. And Xavier Lucas just up in the portal. So put his name right at the top of the list of players that Miami would be interested in.
Trying to pull up his huddle here. I'm waiting for it to load. So, but yeah, I mean, look, a corner class of Xavier Lucas and Charles Brantley doesn't sound too bad.
Not at all. Not at all. So, I mean, look, on that note, like and subscribe. We'll give you the latest as on all these new names as we keep going. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Check out Group Chat Sports if you can.
Go Canes.
Go Canes.